A traditional mandi is a designated marketplace where farmers and vendors can sell their produce, be it vegetables, grains, or more recently, clothes and raw materials. Typically, a mandi acts as a facilitator between the consumer and the seller. The process is often riddled with agents such as retailers, wholesalers, and land distributors. The presence of middlemen has led to price inequalities and has significantly lessened the active participation of farmers. In a framework traditionally dominated by intermediaries, a mandi system dilutes farmers' returns. To combat these exploitative practices, an e-mandi system has been introduced and developed over the past few years. At the core of this project is the goal to eliminate middlemen and to offer a more secure and fair mode of business for traders, farmers, wholesalers, and consumers. So what exactly is an e-mandi and how does it operate? And what obstacles stand in the way of its implementation? Let's try and find out. First of all, a small history lesson. To address the exploitation, the Agricultural Produce Market Committee was set up in 1963, aimed at reducing the involvement of middlemen and allowing farmers to function in a more transparent and secure manner. Agriculture is in the state list, and thus each state can implement the APMC as they see fit. The Act demarcates land which can be used as markets. Traders must acquire a license to work at a mandi, and sellers such as retailers and manufacturers cannot buy produce directly from the farmers. The APMC has still proven to be flawed in its method. It ended up creating a whole subsection of agents who function as middlemen. Limited in number, they may deliberately increase bids to raise prices, thus simultaneously affecting returns. There have also been instances of saving tax by refusing to give the farmers the receipts they need to get bank loans and benefiting from the restrictions placed on farmers' ability to sell their produce elsewhere. The number of intermediaries between the producer and the consumer dilutes the final returns of the farmer. Furthermore, other problems regarding storage facilities, machinery for farming, and modernization have not been addressed by the APMC. A traditional mandi system therefore fails to secure a farmer's rights to their returns, as the profits get diluted as it trickles down through intermediaries. With middlemen serving as the biggest flaw in the mandis, the concept of an e-mandi comes as a blessing to the farmers who have been exploited by the traditional system. An e-mandi transfers the entire process to an online platform which filters out the middlemen. The biggest step in developing e-mandis has been the steps taken up by the government. Electronic National Agriculture Market or ENAM was set up in 2016. Aside from direct-to-consumer sales, its primary aim is to provide real-time price discovery derived from supply and demand through a transparent process. Karnataka's Rashtriya E-Market Services has joined hands with ENAM, widening the scope of online agricultural transactions. According to government guidelines, farmers can join ENAM by registering via an online portal or through a mobile application. No fee is incurred and a list of necessary documents facilitates the procedure. In 2016, only 21 mandis were registered with ENAM. As of May 2020, more than 700 mandis have been integrated onto the platform. The Agricultural Ministry has reported that there has been an increase of 65% in connected mandis since the beginning of the lockdown. As of April 2020, around 150 commodities have been traded on ENAM, including vegetables, fruits, and grains. The user base currently comprises over 1.6 crore farmers, 70,000 plus commission agents, and over 1.2 lakh traders. However, the process is lengthier than a simple registration. A sample of the farmer's produce needs to be evaluated at the nearest mandi or a warehouse. With only 8.42% of mandis connected, sellers struggle to find the nearest registered mandi. While there have been many attempts to connect as many mandis as possible, the process has been slow and inefficient. It is also estimated that only 14% of farmers have connected via ENAM. This leaves to question the status and plan of action for the rest of the farming population. The shift to a digitized market is a step taken by the government in the right direction, but it still has scope for perfection, and thus it must not overshadow other issues such as access to technology, unfair pricing, and unavailability of machinery. With a positive attempt being made to remove intermediaries and garner fairer treatments to farmers and customers, there seem to be more efforts in securing the digital process of the business. Aside from better pricing through the eMandi platform, the Centre has recently passed the Farmers Trade and Commerce Ordinance 2020, which enable farmers and traders with the freedom to monitor sales across the country as well as discover the most rewarding prices. Even more recently, the government announced an Agricultural Infrastructure Fund, which will allocate 1 lakh crore rupees to the agricultural sector in the hopes of offering better incentives and economic support for the farmers. The scheme proposes allotment of funds towards improving income rates based on direct-to-consumer sales while simultaneously eliminating intermediaries, modernization of agro-machinery and offering financial assistance. It also offers funding for startups and entrepreneurships to strengthen their relations with farmers and incentivize developments in AI and other development projects. With monetary distribution spread over a timeline of 10 years, there seems to be a comprehensive plan for addressing the issues related to outdated mechanization and working towards an effective eMandi system. However, the rising farmer suicide rates must also be given equal attention in order to equip the agricultural sector with resources to continue working without looming debts or bad policy decisions. Further, perhaps the biggest game changer for an efficient eMandi system is to equip the farmers with adequate technology and information they need to participate. And although Digital India has been in the works for a while, there is a disparity between the number of farmers who actually have access to mobile phones and a friendly user interface. Keeping all of this in mind, the creation of eMandis is surely a step in the right direction. But it must not overshadow the underlying obstacles in the agricultural sector in this process. Do you think eMandis is a good idea to remove the obstacles of middlemen and providing better returns to the farmers? Let us know your thoughts in the comment box down below. You can follow us on our social media handles and our website for more such stories. The links are in the description. Stay safe. See you next time.